All right, today we're tackling something huge. We're diving into a single verse from the Quran known as Ayat Al Kursi, the verse of the throne. Now, you might have heard it's considered the greatest verse in the entire book. So the big question is, why? In this explainer, we're going to pull it apart, phrase by powerful phrase, and see what makes it so special.
I mean, think about it. What makes one verse stand out among literally thousands? That's what we're here to find out. Ayat Al Kursi, you'll find it in the second chapter, Surah Al-Baqarah, and it's this incredibly dense, powerful statement about the nature of God, all packed into just a few lines.
Just listen to the beginning of it. Right away, you notice this isn't a story. It's not a set of rules. It's a declaration. It's this sweeping, confident statement about the reality of the divine, and it's something that has shaped the faith of millions and millions of people for over 1,400 years. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at its opening statement, this powerful declaration about the one God. Then we're going to zoom out and look at the sheer scale of his power and knowledge. From there, we'll get into the most mysterious part, that symbol of the throne. And finally, we'll see how all of this deep theology isn't just theory. It's a huge part of daily life and ritual for believers.
So let's jump in.
Okay, so the verse just jumps right in with this core concept, tawhid. Now, this isn't just monotheism. It's way more intense than that. It's the absolute, uncompromising, indivisible unity of God. It's really the bedrock of Islam. And that first phrase, there is no deity except him, that's the lens. Everything else we're about to read has to be seen through that single, powerful idea.
Right after establishing his oneness, the verse gives us two of God's most important attributes. First, Al-Hayy, the ever-living. This means his life has no beginning and no end. It's just eternal. Then there's Al-Qayyum, the self-sustaining. This is a two-parter, and it's incredible. It means, one, he's completely independent, needs nothing, and two, he is the one actively holding up all of creation. Just let that sink in. He is the source of life, and at the very same time, the force keeping the entire cosmos from falling apart.
And just to really drive home this idea of God's absolute perfection, the verse gets super specific. It says he isn't affected by naum, which is deep sleep. Okay, makes sense. But then it adds, he isn't even touched by sinna, which is just the slightest bit of drowsiness, a tiny lapse in attention. I mean, what a powerful way to say that his watchfulness over everything is constant, perfect, and it never, ever wavers for even a split second.
Okay, so that's God's essential nature. But then the verse kind of zooms out to show us his relationship with the universe. And this is where you start to feel the absolutely mind-boggling scale of his power. You hear this phrase, and it sounds so simple, but it is absolute, total ownership. Everything you can think of, every star, every planet, every single atom belongs to him. It's a clear, straightforward statement of complete and total sovereignty, no exceptions. And then the verse draws this really clear, hard line between the Creator and everything he created. It throws out this powerful rhetorical question. Who is it that can intercede with him except by his permission? And the answer is just hanging there in the air, right? No one. Not a prophet, not an angel, any authority, any knowledge. It's all given by him. It's not something anyone can claim for themselves.
To really put our place in the cosmos into perspective, the verse says that all of us, all of creation, encompass nothing of his knowledge except what he wills. I mean, that's such a profound statement of intellectual humility, isn't it? It means every scientific breakthrough, every piece of art, everything humanity has ever discovered or created, it's all just a tiny little slice of knowledge that he allowed us to see.
All right, now we get to the part that gives the verse its name. This is probably the most symbolic, most debated, and most fascinating piece of the puzzle. The Kursi, the throne. So the word Kursi, it literally translates to a chair, a seat, or even a footstool. But, and this is a huge but, theologians are very clear this isn't about God sitting on a physical chair like a king. Nope. Instead, it's a powerful symbol for his boundless power, his all-encompassing knowledge that stretches over the entire heavens and the earth. So, what exactly is the Kursi? Well, scholars have looked at it from a few different angles, but they all point to the same incredible reality. For some, it's a pure metaphor for God's sovereignty and authority. For others, it specifically represents his vast knowledge that covers everything. And then there's a third view that sees it as a literal, unimaginably vast creation, like a footstool, that itself is a sign of his divine rule. And it's also really important not to mix up the Kursi with the Arsh. The Arsh is the greater throne, and it's mentioned in other parts of the Quran. In classical Islamic thought,
The Arsh is like the ultimate symbol of God's absolute power over everything, while the Kursi, the one in this verse, is specifically about his dominion over the known cosmos, the heavens and the earth.
And as if all that wasn't enough, the verse finishes this section with a thought that just stops you in your tracks. It says that preserving and maintaining this entire vast universe tires him not. It is completely, utterly effortless for him.
So, we've gone through some deep theology here, but what does it all mean in a practical sense? Why does this verse matter so much to people day to day? Let's get into our final section and see how this amazing declaration becomes a part of daily life.
Yeah, this is really where the rubber meets the road. Believers recite it after their daily prayers, and it's like a reset button, reminding them of God's power. They recite it before going to sleep, asking for protection from the one who never sleeps. And in those moments of fear or uncertainty, it becomes this powerful source of comfort, a reminder of who is really, truly in control.
When you get right down to it, the verse is so powerful because it works on so many levels. It's a doctrinal anchor, a perfect little summary of core beliefs you can fit in your head. It's a source of deep spiritual reassurance when life gets chaotic. It sets an ethical boundary, reminding us that ultimate justice and power belong to God alone. And maybe most importantly, it teaches this incredible lesson in awe and reverence, how to affirm God's greatness without ever trying to shrink him down to our limited human understanding.
So how can one verse, just a few lines written 1400 years ago, do all of that? I think the answer is in its perfect, elegant structure. It takes you on a journey from absolute oneness to absolute authority to the effortless preservation of everything. It gives you a complete worldview in a single breath. It's a constant, powerful reminder of where all power and all comfort truly come from. It isn't just a verse you read, it's an anchor you can live by.